So not only was I directing the film at that point, but I had to turn up at 6 o'clock in the morning to have made 3 hours of makeup before I got on set. It was a disaster. Anyway,
I don't have a follow-up question to follow up per se. You know, just to jump back from the third movie to Flying Circus for a second, you get credit from Eric Idle of pretty much what everyone talks about the show, the format, the deconstruction, the jumps, the cuts, and it's, I mean, that's all from you, head of Voltron.
well, yeah, it was when we were thinking about what kind of show we're going to do, it's before we even had a name for it, I was thinking about what can we do to make it different. Terry Gilliam had done an animation for Do Not Adjust Your Set, which was a children's show that we did, which I think is on DVD now.
Yeah.
So it's in black and white, and there was a sort of stream of consciousness cartoon, and Terry had said, I'm not sure it's going to work, but anyway, it just goes from one thing to another. It's called Elephants, I think. And then I saw a show by Spike Milligan, Q4, and Spike had suddenly lifted the scales from my eyes in a way, because people know Spike Milligan. Anyway, Spike had done this show, Q4, where he tore up the rule book. We'd all been writing sketches, which were like 3-minute sketches with beginnings, middles, and ends, or else we'd be doing 30-second blackouts. So it's just like one, something that ends in one joke. And Milligan just threw that all away. You'd start a sketch, and then it would turn into something else, and then become something else. And I suddenly clicked. I thought, well, if we married that, what he's done there, just changing around and not bothering dispensing with punchlines and things like that. I mean, Milligan did it first. And we used Terry Gilliam's chain of consciousness with cartoons to link the items. We'd have a different kind of show. And I can remember bringing Mike Palin up and saying this, and bringing Kerry G up, and they both got it immediately. And then when we suggested it to the rest of the group, they went, oh, yeah, okay, fine, you want to do that, fine. But they weren't really into it. And then, I suppose then when we started doing the shows, I was also very keen that how the shows were produced, made. And so I was a pain in the neck for our poor director, Ian McNaughton, especially at the beginning, because, I'd be sitting on his shoulder looking at what he was doing. I'd insist on going on vacation reviews with him, and then I'd insist on sort of being there at the edit. And I'd bring Ian up and say, when are we editing? When are we editing? Thursday morning, but we've only got 2 hours here. We've only got 2 hours. Well, actually, here's John doing Tim the Enchanter. He's really doing Ian McNaughton. And so we'd go and edit, and of course we'd edit all day, and then at the end of the day I'd call the others in and we'd all watch it. But so I was doing the nuts and bolts thing.
Was that nuts and bolts thing, was that for you to protect the written work so that nobody changed it in a way, or was it really to see to direct?
No, it's more to see, it was more like the whole thing was trying to cut stuff out, the stuff that wasn't funny. So it was really trying to get funny stuff up on the. In fact, like there's a sketch in I think one of the early shows, a sketch about the killer joke, which is a joke.
That's in the first show.
That's in the first show, isn't it? And that one, when we showed it in the recording studio, when we actually did it, it was just too long. And I can remember my brother saying, "Oh, it's just far too long, that sketch." And in fact, it was 9 minutes in the show. And when I was doing, we did a series of DVDs called My Personal Bests, and I realised I could re-edit it fine. So I cut it down to 6 minutes, so I took 3 minutes out of it. And you don't, it's just the jokes. But at the time when we were doing it, it was very early on in the it was so difficult to persuade Ian to actually start cutting stuff. And, it was a nightmare, actually.
Well, we have, Terry brought some great clips with him, and I want to go back to pre-Python, when you and Michael were working on Late Show, so I think it'd be fun to show it.
Okay, yeah. Well, we've been doing sort of little film inserts for a program called The Late Show. There was, that was the week was the first satirical show in Britain. Great show. It just looked at the week. And then not so much a program followed on from that. And The Late Show was the third show in that series of late-night satirical shows that went on a Saturday night. And we were doing little film inserts. And this one is about two gentlemen going to work. The idea was, well, you'll see the idea. It's just two men. It was called Going to Work, I think it was called.
Yeah, and it's on the DVD as